there, I'm Nell. Have you ever been fishing at night? Some of the disciples were fishermen before they followed Jesus. After Jesus rose from the dead, 7 of his disciples went fishing. Let's watch this video to see what happened.
Three days after Jesus died on the cross, he came back to life. More than once, Jesus appeared to his disciples and proved that he was alive. 7 of Jesus' disciples were at the Sea of Galilee. Peter said, "I'm going fishing." The other disciples went with him. They got into a boat and spent all night on the water, but the disciples did not catch any fish. The next morning, as the sun was coming up, Jesus stood on the shore. He called out to the disciples, "Men, have you caught any fish?" "No," they answered. "Put your net in the water on the right side of the boat," Jesus said. The disciples did what Jesus said. So many fish were in their net that they could not pull the net back into the boat. John said to Peter, "It is the Lord." Peter jumped into the water so he could swim to shore. The disciples' boat was about 100 yards from the shore. The rest of the disciples rowed in the boat back to shore. They pulled the net full of fish behind them. When the disciples got out of the boat, they saw bread and a charcoal fire with fish on it. "Bring some of the fish you've caught," Jesus said. So Peter pulled the net ashore. It was full of large fish, 153 of them. "Come and have breakfast," Jesus said. Jesus gave them the bread and fish. This was the 3rd time Jesus appeared to the disciples after he was raised from the dead. Jesus turned to Peter. "Simon, son of John," Jesus said, "do you love me more than these?" "Yes, Lord," Peter said. "You know that I love you." "Feed my lambs," Jesus told him. Jesus asked Peter again, "Simon, son of John, do you love me?" "Yes, Lord," Peter said. "You know that I love you." "Shepherd my sheep," Jesus said. Jesus asked Peter a 3rd time, "Simon, son of John, do you love me?" Peter was very sad that Jesus asked him a 3rd time. Peter loved Jesus very much. "Lord, you know everything. You know that I love you." "Feed my sheep," Jesus said. Yes, Jesus knew that Peter loved him. At the Last Supper, Peter had promised he would die for Jesus, but when Jesus was arrested, all of his disciples ran away. Peter denied even knowing Jesus 3 times. Jesus showed Peter that he forgave his disciples who had run away. Jesus still had a special job for his disciples in his plan to rescue people from sin. When Jesus first called the disciples to follow him, Jesus had promised to make them fishers of men. Instead of catching fish, they would tell people about Jesus. The disciples had left Jesus when he was arrested, but Jesus still wanted to use them in God's plan to rescue people from their sin. Jesus is a Lord who forgives us and makes things right again.
When Jesus called some of his disciples, he said that instead of catching fish, they would tell people about Jesus. After Jesus died on the cross and rose again, he reminded them of his special job for them. Bye for now.